This is what it's like being a young woman in the UK today. A simple walk down the street can turn into a moment of fear. In this case, a young woman was followed by a man she didn't know, a foreign national, who made her feel threatened and uncomfortable. Thankfully, she stood her ground, told him to leave her alone, and managed to get away safely. But the reality is, many women aren't so lucky. We'll dive into this story in today's video, but before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Right now, only 12% of viewers are subscribed, so join the community and help us grow. What used to be rare is now becoming frighteningly common. Stories like this appear week after week. Women being followed, harassed, or approached aggressively while just going about their day. It's reached the point where feeling unsafe in public had become almost normalized. That should never be the case in a country that prides itself on freedom and safety. Every woman should be able to walk alone without fear, without having to clutch her phone or look over her shoulder. Yet this is the reality far too many face, and it's happening in towns and cities across Britain. Authorities can talk all they like about public safety, but until there's real action, visible policing, proper accountability, and tougher consequences for harassment, nothing will truly change. We'll show you the video now. It's a short clip, but it captures a much bigger problem. The growing sense that for young women in the UK, safety can no longer be taken for granted. Have a watch.
What? No. What? You want to see me? I don't want to see you. Can you please follow me? You okay? Yeah, this guy's following me.
What happened to this young woman isn't a one-off. It's part of a wider pattern that's becoming all too common across the UK. Women should never have to accept being followed, harassed, or intimidated as part of everyday life. It's time the government and the police stopped brushing this off and started treating it like the serious issue it is. Every woman deserves to feel safe, whether she's walking home, going to work, or out with friends. Until there's real accountability and tougher action against those who make women feel unsafe, this fear will keep growing. And that's simply not acceptable in a country that calls itself civilized. In other news, Sir Keir Starmer has been accused of undermining the British Army by allowing human rights to pose a threat to national security. 9 four-star generals who signed an open letter to the Prime Minister to coincide with Armistice Day warned that soldiers' trust in the legal system has deteriorated so badly that it now risks everything. The group claimed the collapse in trust is a direct threat to national security and suggest it has sparked an exodus from the special forces. In the letter, which has been published by The Times, the 9 four-star generals said, "Today, every British soldier deployed must consider not only the enemy in front of them, but the lawyer behind them. Make no mistake, our closest allies are watching uneasily, and our enemies will be rubbing their hands." The generals also claim the collapse in confidence is a direct consequence of lawfare, which they define as the use of legal processes to fight political or ideological battles. The European Convention on Human Rights was identified as a sticking point for armed forces personnel. Soldiers have become increasingly fearful about the Strasbourg Convention, paralyzing decision-making, distorting rules of engagement, and deterring initiative. The 9 signatories include 3 former chiefs of the General Staff, an ex-deputy NATO Supreme Allied Commanders, and a former chief of the Air Staff. A source close to the generals told The Times, "This is an existential issue for the armed forces and our nation's fighting effectiveness, but the government is refusing to recognize it despite all the overwhelming evidence presented to them. The generals have decided the time has come for them to publicly stand up and be counted in the hope their voices help." Sir Keir and his Attorney General Lord Hermer have now been urged to disapply the European Convention on Human Rights and the UK's own Human Rights Act from troops' actions while on active service in the UK and globally. There is particular concern about Sir Keir's Northern Ireland Troubles Bill, which will allow a series of new investigations into military actions in the province over the 3-decade-long war against the IRA that ended in 1997. Labour's attempt to scrap the Northern Ireland Troubles Legacy and Reconciliation Act in 2023 has already sparked a major backlash, with more than 200,000 signing a petition to protect soldiers who fought as part of Operation Banner. However, the 9 4-stars now insist the problem now extends far beyond Northern Ireland, warning lawfare targets anyone in uniform on active service anywhere in the world. The Prime Minister is facing growing calls to disapply the ECHR amid concerns it has also stifled Britain's ability to deport dangerous foreign nationals and stop the Channel crossing crisis. Ex-Home Secretary Jack Straw called on Sir Keir to decouple from the Strasbourg Convention. Meanwhile, Labour MP Graham Stringer called for the complete withdrawal to curb Channel crossings. Despite pressure growing from within the Labour Party, Lord Hermer appeared to compare critics of the ECHR to Nazis earlier this year. The Ministry of Defence has also rejected accusations made by the group of 4-star generals, and instead insisted the new Northern Ireland Bill includes robust safeguards to protect veterans. A government spokesman said, "We promised our veterans who served with honour in Northern Ireland that we would put proper protections in place, and the Northern Ireland Troubles Bill delivers on that commitment. After the false promises of the last government, we are putting in place 6 real, workable protections for veterans that the failed Legacy Act never did. We will not allow the process, like so many times before, to become the punishment for our veterans. These robust safeguards will ensure the rights of those who served their nation so honourably are protected whilst providing victims with a human rights compliant, fair and transparent system to seek answers." In other news, another illegal migrant removed under the France returns deal has crossed back into the UK. Exclusively revealed by GB News, it has discovered the migrant arrived back into UK waters on a small boat on Remembrance Sunday. He was one of almost 400 small boat migrants picked up in the Channel by Border Force and taken to Dover Harbour. The news is another major blow to the government's flagship one-in one-out scheme with France. A Home Office spokesperson said, "Anyone looking to return to the UK after being removed under the UK-France agreement is wasting their time and money. This individual was detected by biometrics and detained immediately. His case will be expedited, and he will be returned to France as quickly as possible. The message is clear: if you try to return to the UK, you will be sent back. We will do whatever it takes to scale up removals of illegal migrants and secure our borders." It has not yet been able to establish the nationality of the returned migrant or when they were sent back to France. The news comes less than a week after another small boat migrant, dubbed the Hokey Cokey migrant, was eventually sent back to France after he also crossed the Channel twice on a small boat. The Iranian national had originally arrived in the UK on August 6th. He was flown back to France on September 19th, but less than a month later, he had managed to find another spot on a migrant dinghy. It took another 18 days after that before he was flown back to Paris. Returns deal, which was signed on August 5th, is seen as an important element in the government's policy against illegal crossings, which have now reached 39,000 since the beginning of this year. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.